Warning, this podcast is intended for mature audiences only. It contains adult language, themes, and humor. Everything said here is for comedic and satirical purposes only. It is not to be taken literally, and nothing in the show should be used as a basis for legal proceedings or real-world actions. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Welcome back to another episode of Slightly Offensive, more like pretty much in full psychosis. You know, I saw a video today, and it broke my heart. The system has failed us men. And women out here, despite, what you thought was the problem, 80% of divorces, the majority of the hoeing, voting, all the things they brought us, it turns out that even the things occasionally, every once in a while a man does wrong, was never our fault. It's not us. This poor man's wife and the system, look what they did to this man, Pedro Sanchez.
Hearing voices, I was still trying to decide what to do, and something kept telling me, burn everything down. Wow. I'm sorry to everybody, I really am. There's no other way I can say it, there's nothing I can do that'll take it away.
He knows he was wrong. Yeah, look at this. So a man details in court why he chose to burn down his house with his wife in it. And I know at first, at the beginning of this week, I would have seen that video and I would have said, wow, what a horrible thing. Like you committed arson, you killed your wife, you committed a homicide, like you didn't just divorce, you murdered someone. But then I started watching TikTok. I started learning that despite the justice system, despite the criminal investigations by local police, national police, and all of the forensic sciences we've developed over the last few decades, there was two things that I ignored in that video. He was hearing voices. And you would say, what? And he was taking medication? No, he was hearing voices because he was on medications. But two, listen, Dada, I'm with you on this, okay? This is definitely, by the way, in Aquarius, so I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen and learn. He has testosterone flowing through his body. And unless you're a dad or you're a man and you've ever experienced the effects of testosterone, the weight of the world, the fact that you can be drafted while we're in active war right now, never heard of that. The Iran war, have you ever heard of that? You want me to tell you what that is? It turns out it's really fucking tough to be a man, and it's a lot of responsibility. And if you're gonna just judge a man for murdering a female and committing a felony actively and proactively, ask yourself the question, woman, whore, stupid bitch, have you ever had male levels of testosterone fury syndrome flowing through your veins? You ever had a mullet, looked like a badass in a jumpsuit? No, you haven't. So step off. Be quiet. And all the men out there, divorce your stupid bitch-ass wife, not because she's not giving you sex, because she doesn't understand. All the rapists, murderers, gang members, fraudsters, international crime syndicates, even the Zionists and AIPAC themselves, you can't blame them because men have struggles that women don't have. And I can't even say, I have a shaky voice because it's just hard for me to get it out here. I almost put my phone up on a tripod right now just to film the tears and put it up later. Joining me today to talk about the emotional state of just how bad it is for us here as men today with the medication and testosterone. It's just so much I don't like to talk about. Let me just get the camera off me. Go ahead.
The women have gone insane. They have gone insane. What are you supposed to do in 2026? As a young man walking around in this world, you not only got to put up with your girl going. You not only have to be absolutely destroyed in divorce and family court if you toe out of line, if you tell your girl, hey, maybe you should have done the dishes today. Hey, maybe you shouldn't strangle our 3 children in the basement. Nowadays, you can tell your girl to let's not kill around in this world. It's your fault. It's your fault. That's all that it takes. Nowadays, you got to watch your back. And so my advice to every man watching this right now, immediately go ask your girlfriend, immediately go ask your wife. It's going to be hard. It's not going to feel good. It might hurt you and it might destroy your relationship, but go ask your girl, is Lindsay Clancy innocent or guilty? What is she? Ask her right now, today, without hesitation. The lives of your children or future children are on the line. The women have gone insane. It's your responsibility to protect your seed, protect your children, protect the future, protect the youth. It is up to us, you guys, because these chicks are crazy.
No,
There's no other way to put it.
No, I actually don't think they're crazy. I think they have a point. We should, as a society, just start not taking responsibility at the equal level of women. I feel like this is a moment where we should learn from women. And I believe that this is a great moment in the division that we've been experiencing in the sexes, to where this entire time, women know what men have been dealing with. Why is there so much tension in the home? It's because there's a woman there. Why am I stressed out? Because a woman's stressing me out. Why is parenting hard? Because a woman makes it hard. Why am I financially in trouble? Because she spends a lot of money. Why do I have insecurities? It's because I can't get anyone to love me for who I am. You know, people say, a lot of women out there, I have a friend who explained to me something, and it really opened up my eyes. We have Pearl Davis coming on in a second. She'll be here from Pearly Things to talk about the state of women. But he said this, you know, women get really offended when you call them a bitch, which is weird because a bitch is a female dog. And female dogs actually have a lot of positive qualities that women don't have. For one, when you get a dog and you give it love and you feed it and you give it a home, it doesn't leave you because it's entered a new season and doesn't feel like being with you anymore. Also, a dog, whenever you have one and you're around it and you speak to it, for some reason, no matter how long it lives with you, it never talks back. Isn't that crazy? Now, the old saying goes, you lock a woman in a trunk with the dog, one of them will be happy to see you when you open it. But the truth is, not only this about a dog, but a dog never expects more. And if you give him the same shit every single day, the little dried biscuits and tap water, it's so grateful. Unlike women who expect it, he's like, oh shit, I get my little dried biscuit discs and my calcium laced water. Well, yippee, you're the best person I ever met. And you give a woman a steak dinner with a bottle of wine and she says, we've already tried this $600 Italian wine. We've already tried this. Let's try French wine. I never had a dog I've ever owned ask me to switch the country of origin of his food. And for that, women should be grateful that we call them bitches, because it's honestly an upgrade from the way that they've been treating us. So I think with this idea of women just, I'm going to say this, women did something for us after 75 years of feminism. They have collectively admitted during the psychosis of Lindsay Clancy's case that women are beings incapable of not acting upon emotional and hormonal urges, of which their natural hormones cause them to act, behave in a way that is incongruent with social norms, laws, and general human decency. And they cannot take accountability, and they do not have the agency to control themselves. And it turns out that like at least 70% of women in this country agree. Like, I'm surprised it wasn't me who killed the kids too. That's what they're saying. I'm shocked because you're seeing videos of women holding their kids saying, no one, she could have been me. And remember, these are the women, millions of kids are aborted every year. Now the black ones, not so worried about, but the rest of them, we are worried about. And the problem is that this is woman's religion. It's the death of children. And when women left to their own agency in all of history, you look at all of history, men try to keep women under control. Women feel like men are oppressors. It sucks for men because then men feel like oppressors. Then they give in. They give women power. Then they quickly rise to power. They quickly gain all the money. They quickly gain all the positions. They start whoring themselves out. Child sacrifice rises. Morals decay. And it's really good for women for a short period, but every civilization eventually just collapses shortly after the women are kept from themselves. For the same reason that you put socket covers on electrical outlets when you have toddlers, it's not because you don't want the kids to have a shocking evening. It's because you know that they're kids and you want to protect them. Women are not given freedom of agency because when given that, they do this. Let's talk about it. Let's put a poll on the YouTube here. Let's put a poll on the YouTube. Oh, you did? What'd you put?
I said, is Lindsay Clancy innocent or guilty?
Okay. I put a poll up. Let's get a poll here in the group. Men, at the state of current laws here, start here with Nikki. Who would you rather leave your children with? And like all men, things are simple. They're black and white, so I only put two answers.
The bear.
A mom or postpartum depression or a bear?
The bear. Your child has a higher survival rate with the bear, with a huge grizzly bear, a polar bear, a brown bear waiting to rip it apart and eat it. Your baby will probably have a higher survival rate than with the thousands upon thousands of women that are out on social media calling for Lindsay Clancy to be pardoned, to be found not guilty, and to not be held accountable for the wholesale murder of all of her children, of all three of her children. I honestly have not been this disgusted, maybe ever, at least in a very long time. This enrages me on a spiritual level when I think about how many women are jumping to the defense of a woman who was 8 months postpartum, by the way. So this is not like a 1, 2, 3 month thing. That's typically when postpartum depression is at its highest intensity. This is 8 months after that. She had gone out. She'd been running marathons. She'd been doing all of these different things. And I want to give y'all a few other facts about the case. She was not in the trenches, like I said, 8 months out. She also had a nanny. She had a nanny. And her husband worked from home. And her in-laws live right by there. And her parents live right by there. She had access to therapy, meds, and countless doctors. She is just an evil, psychotic, demonic bitch. That is it. She waited until her husband was gone. She told him to go run an errand to get food for the family. She Googled how long it would take him to do this based upon the directions, the distance from the house. And then she, one by one, starting with her 3-year-old, took her children to the basement and strangled them with exercise bands. The 5-year-old, when he realized what was going on, or she realized what was going on, tried to run away. She chased them down and then finished off with the 8-month-old. She is just an evil bitch. You don't like using that word? Fuck you, okay? If you strangle 3 little children, I cannot even comprehend the depths of evil you have inside of your heart. And the fact that there are all of these women protesting on the streets outside of the courthouse wearing pink in solidarity. BLM fist, but this is for a stupid bitch this time. BLM fist and pink shirts. Me too. Same, Lindsay. I watch these TikTok videos. Imagine you're these little toddlers with their moms holding them up on their shoulders. TikTok video, same, Lindsay. 10 years go by, they go on social media when they're older, and they see their mom admitting that they thought about murdering them. There's something deeply wrong in our society right now. And if you really want to understand, a lot of guys are like, how are there this many women relating to this baby murderer, this triple baby murderer? It's because millions upon millions of women have already murdered their children. Millions upon millions of American women have already murdered their own children. And just to give you the details, if a woman has ever had a second, not a third, a second trimester abortion, they kill that baby by ripping it apart, limb from limb, head, then they pull out the torso last. Leg, arm, head and neck, then the torso. Millions of women have done that in this country. So yeah, actually, it's not much of a far cry for them to think, I was in this situation. I didn't want my baby while he was in my stomach. I killed it. Now my baby's outside of the womb. Well, I don't want it now. I'll kill it now. That's what we're dealing with. These women are insane, and it's time for the men to get smart and fix your bitch.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about. Just the whole class here. I think we can all agree that feminism is way too far gone to fix at this point. Like, there's nothing men can do. We can't organize. We can't politically do anything that's going to put the genie back in the bottle. So what is the fastest way to remove all rights from women? That's the question. Like, what is the answer?
Well, I just want to get a little personal here for a second.
Shocker.
I want to get personal here.
Elijah Schaefer getting personal?
I just want to go ahead and say this Lindsay Clancy situation has never come at a better time just for me. Just for me.
Here we go.
Reminding you of someone, a woman, a very insane, psychotic human being named Abby Libby. What a cunt. Bring up my screen, would you? I remember when my ex wrongfully removed my children out of the country, didn't know where they were for 4 months, was lied about, smeared, said I was on drugs. She posted this publicly to how many people? 3.8 million people, by the way, and said, these are his deleted posts. I have a horrible suspicion that Elijah Schaefer has killed his family with the gun he claims is stolen. I feel sick. Tell me I'm reading this wrong. Now, I said at the time, when this stupid bitch, who, by the way, this is the woman, this encapsulates, these are the TikTok investigators. They're very ugly. They're not very attractive. They have unfulfilling lives. And I said this, and I said, these women are making such a dramatic exaggeration of what's going on in my personal life because they watch these Nancy Grace / crime dramas and they think that everything is a investigation. They believe that they are the FBI. And you could say, like, my kids are gone, and they go, I've figured it out. He committed homicide. He killed his kids. He killed his wife. Now, Abby Libby, if you see this clip, the joke's on you. I didn't have postpartum depression. Now, you are right to think that someone could kill their family because men can get pregnant and men can have children. It's 2026. Not all people with uteruses are female. Unfortunately, I'm one of those born at birth males. So I don't have high levels of estrogen. I don't have high levels of psychosis. And I don't have the mind you do to where I'm so fucked up in my head that I have the audacity to make claims that mock victims of real homicide and also, on the flip, vindicate people who are guilty of actually committing those crimes. And I told people, I said, these fucking gays and women who watch these shows are absolutely dragging this to something that it's not supposed to be. And there may be legal consequences for that, Abby. I have not forgotten that. I remember that very clearly, and I have documented everything. How dare you? But secondly, months down the road, people were saying, well, what do you mean everyone's exaggerating? Could that many people be lying about you? Could that many people get together and create a fake narrative and have a justification? You told me you're on drugs. How could that many women and gays be in psychosis and think that you're guilty of things that you didn't do? Well, I would like to present to you example A today, when the majority of videos on TikTok, on Instagram, are these women who are bored. They're bored. The stay-at-home moms are bored because raising kids is the easiest it's ever fucking been in the entire history of the world. You have machines that do your work for you. You're having on average 1.5 children. You are not busy, so you're bored. So you watch TV. I ask this to every woman on social media, it's a Sam that's complaining about it, post your screen time. It's so hard. Post your screen time. My husband, post your screen time during the day. I bet you're not doing a lot. And to the women that work, like the video came out, there's 176,000 more office positions held by women than men, and men are clocking out. Why? Because the work is meaningless, it's boring, it's not important. When a woman sees a building, she's incapable of understanding how it was built, the thought that went into it, the architecture, whether she likes it or doesn't like it. She doesn't understand the hours of the immigrants that built it. She doesn't understand the design work from Sweden and the way that it either adds or subtracts from the light. She walks in there and complains that it's too cold inside. That's her only thought. My job's just so cold, so I bring a little blanket. I don't want to work around that shit. We need HR in here because he's making sexist jokes. And that's their whole world. women are bored because we've made life too easy for them. They used to be at home and be afraid that someone was going to rape and kill them or kidnap them and make them slaves. They don't have those fears anymore, so they make TikToks and they set up little tripods and then they cry performatively. It's a very true thing. And so we're in this problem where I'm like, well, this is a great year for me because I've experienced it and we've all have. And now from my life experience, a lot of you out there, this is the vindication for all men this year. Before we go to Pearl in a second, a lot of you men out there may not have gone through what I went through, where you were publicly derided by psychotic women leading a charge. So I feel for Patrick Clancy because he's a victim. He lost his kids, his wife, and I bet you his new marriage is even more difficult because he's like, is this her too? Oh shit. And we're all thinking that now.
How can you even get remarried after
I can't even date. I don't even want to text the hot young girls that like me because I'm like, are you going to kill my kids? It's like, oh, before last week you thought, oh, a 20-year-old, 19-year-old girl, we can make 5 babies. And I'm like, how many of them is she going to kill? I don't know. And we're all afraid now because women are all relating to this. I bring this up. This has changed discourse in America for all of history and possibly the Western world to where we are understanding that women, like I mentioned earlier, have collectively admitted that they have no agency, that they do not hold themselves accountable, and that even when they do something they admit to doing wrong, it's still not their fault. And this is what I want to say. Maybe you don't have a woman killing your 3 kids. Maybe you didn't go through what I went through. Maybe you went through something similar, but it was private, or you're just a husband who doesn't get sex, and you're home and you're scared because your whole world, your kids' world, your world is on eggshells because of this insane bitch in your house. Or you're single and you're not getting married and you're not dating because you're like seeing how fucked up it is for everybody else. We're all held hostage by the current state of females in our country. We're all held by them. And people say, but what about rapists from Pakistan? Why are they in our country? Women. There was a study that was done. There was a double-blind study that was done. And I'll go to Nikki here in a second. Basically, there was like a 2-way mirror, and it was a sex-based study to try to understand if feminism and equity and equality were impacting real-world decisions at a destructive rate. If there was negative impact or there was any like basically real understanding that women are collectively causing problems to our social fabric and cohesiveness. And essentially, the gist of it was the women and men were in separate groups, and they would watch these people playing a game, and the people were told when they cheated or they did something wrong, they were going to be shocked. The players were. Now, when somebody did something correct, they didn't cheat or they didn't do something wrong, the scientists shocked them. Now, I might be a little bit off of some of the parameters, but I can post it in the description later, the study. But essentially, they shocked people for not doing anything wrong. The same part of the brain in men and women went off, which was like the part about like, concern, care, empathy, emotional derision. You're like, whoa, that's wrong. It's that morality part of the brain where you're just like, hey, why is a bad things happening to somebody who's not doing anything wrong? And that shows that men and women equally care about justice, about like good people and bad things not happening to good people. Now, they changed the circumstances with women and with men to where the person did cheat. They did something wrong and they deserved to be shocked because they agreed to the rules. When somebody cheated or did something wrong in the test and got shocked for it, the same part of the woman's brain went off with empathy, concern, and care for somebody who did the wrong thing, somebody who was breaking the rules and doing the wrong thing. They were still concerned and cared about their well-being. And the men, that part didn't fire off. In fact, they're parts of just satisfaction, contentment, of like, well, fuck him, basically. It's basically what went off in their brain is the parts that's just like, good for him. Shock that bitch. He cheated. So men have the capability neurochemically to differentiate between right and wrong and understand that it's okay to have negative consequences if you do the wrong thing. Women are chemically incapable of differentiating and treating people wrong. Why? Not because they're evil, but because they're maternal and they care, which is why they can't be in control, because they see immigrants, rapists, like little kids who need help. They see the poor in Africa who are low IQ, who are overpopulating while whites are depopulating, as just little hungry people who need your help. They see everything in the world as gays just really need to have love, and pedophiles just need to have mercy, and everybody just needs to have mercy except for one person, the men in their lives, the closest men in their lives. Why? Because they don't really hate all men. They just hate the men that love them. And when you realize that no one in the world despises you, trifles with you, thinks of ways of hurting you, and wants to ruin your peace more than any woman who's in your circle that you emotionally love and care for, is the moment when you realize that those are the ones that are intentionally causing the most harm to you. I'm going to tell you, you got a lot to work on. You got a lot to wake up to. Nikki, I'm going to give you your thoughts here, and then we're going to jump into the Pearl interview.
That study that you just cited is the perfect example of why men build society and women tear it down. Men seek true righteous justice. Women seek empathy in a suicidal manner, suicidal empathy. In the song, what is the TikTok? What are the lyrics to the TikTok song that all these women are playing in the background of their same Lindsay videos? Labor, that's what it's called. What do they say in the song? This chick, apparently she's like super rich too. Total like Nepo baby. 24/7 baby machine. The birth rate is less than 2. You are not a 24/7 baby machine in any way, shape, or form. Less than 2 babies, 24/7 baby machine. You give me too much labor, too much labor. You've gone into labor once, even if that. Quit the bitching. On top of that, what do you see? Candace Owens going out and saying it's Big Pharma's fault. Insane, by the way. Insane. If you want to destroy your credibility, Candace, worse than it already is with a lot of people on the right, do something like this. She blames Big Pharma. I'm reading some of these drugs that she's on. Prozac. Every chick I know is on Prozac. Are they all going out and strangling 8-month-old babies? No, they are not. No, they are not. We have a mass psychosis right now of women feeding into each other's worst dreams and desires, nightmares that they are bringing into reality. It's time for men to stand up and say, no, I've had enough. You are insane. And there are good women out there who they got pregnant at a time in which it wasn't optimal and they didn't kill their baby in the womb. And they do nurture and care for and love their children. I think about those stories of women literally putting their lives on the line to defend their children from someone who breaks in their house with a gun. Women who pick up cars, those superhero moments of strength where they save their children from being crushed. That's a woman. That's a biblical woman. That's what a woman's supposed to be. That's what motherhood was always meant to be. But we have stripped the dignity out of motherhood and child rearing. Now it is a burden upon modernity. The modern woman, they are seeking self-gratification, instant gratification, and anything that comes in the way of that is a problem. And you know what? What's going to take the most time away from you? It's a child. But you know what? It's supposed to be a benefit to your life. It's supposed to give you an experience that nothing else can. To have something that loves you so much unconditionally, unlike any other experience in the world. It is really, truly sad, and it says a lot about the state of affairs in America that women are celebrating and defending the murder of children.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I will say this, there are women in my family who support this stuff. And that's the depth of I'll comment on it. So, I mean, it's in my family. I know friends who have wives who support this. And, so we've extended the list now. We've extended the list. If you're going to marry a woman, not only do you need a prenup, but you also, besides have you ever sexually been with a doctor or engineer, a modern doctor or engineer? Very big question. Do you have any debt? That's always the one. Do you have any debt? Mm-hmm. Number 3, you ask them the same thing. Have you ever had an abortion, or do you believe in abortion? It's very important.
What medication are you taking?
Well, that's I was gonna say, are you on SSRIs?
Yeah.
But also, how's your relationship with your father? Is he in your life? Because if he's not, this is gonna be the greatest 2 months for my penis only. But other than that, where there's no ring, just suck my ding-a-ling, you know?
That's right, King.
And number 5 now is, what are your thoughts on Lindsay Clancy trial?
That's mandatory now.
That's now mandatory. What are your thoughts on that? Because at least with abortion, she'll just kill your preborn kid. But then, because women always have an excuse with abortion. Here's where I'll settle before we go to Pearl. This is the final statement, and I was talking to
a young man who was blackpilled and disillusioned at ever getting married. He said, how is this affecting everyone so much? Like, before this, I knew they liked abortion. But here's the deal. Women always had an excuse with abortion.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't know
Oh,
it was
well, there
this
he is.
bad.
He's here.
Yeah, it's me.
Hey!
I didn't realize it was this bad. I did
waiting for him.
I gave women the benefit of the doubt, like a fool, maybe even a simp. It's not simp behavior, but man,
No, they always had an excuse with abortion. I told them, I go,
They
you know what
did.
it was? They would always say, like, for the first trimester.
Abortion
First
was already
trimester.
so far. Abortion was already so far. It's like killing your kids, like strangling your kids. It's like, that's way down the line. That's way more than I ever expected. But it's like millions of women.
Strangling your 3 children is like, it has to be on the level of putting your baby into the arms of the iron Moloch statue in ancient Babylon and burning it, setting it on fire. Like, strangling your 3 children is literally like Moloch baby sacrifice.
Did you look at the data on
Those are
this?
the same levels.
Did you see the data? I looked up the data on this because I knew something seemed wrong when it said, 60% of murders or homicides of children are men and 40% are women, which is already pretty close. I go, I just don't like out of anecdotal experience, I don't hear of a lot of men killing their young children. And I looked it up and they include men killing children, like a 31-year-old son having a dispute with his father and then one of them shooting each other. But if you look at the specific gate on the research of under 13, so you're not talking about like when a kid becomes, it's like, okay, a 15-year-old man, or as in the words of Matt Gaetz, a 16-year-old woman,
17-year-old woman.
Yeah, 17-year-old woman. There is a very big difference with like a post-pubescent argument with a father and an altercation happening. This is much more close to like typical domestic homicide than it is to intentionally targeting a defenseless thing. Because when I looked at a lot of the male things, it's like I was reading a bunch of the recent reports, even from this and last year. It was like, a fight ensued between the father and the son, like a fist fight, and the son pulled the knife and the dad shot him. Or like, for instance, there was a son and he brought his girl over and he got her pregnant and then he actually went to go.
It's not like men don't kill their families sometimes. It does happen. The difference here is that the world doesn't support them. The masculine world,
but they don't
every man
kill
in
kids
America,
very much. But they don't.
Men are
kill
not
kids.
rallying around the murderers.
Yeah,
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
But it's disproportionately women. I was looking and
Killing their kids?
Their young kids. It's like from what I
feel
saw,
like a man.
From what I saw, it was over 70% of young kids, of their own kids being murdered, were women. Disproportionately, not even close to half. It was like I couldn't get exact numbers. I'm just reading the reports.
You don't hear about that in the news
It's
as
not,
much as like
you can't find
the wife cheats on the man and the man kills the whole family. You hear that story a couple times a year, I feel like, but
it's not quantified. I looked for the data sets. This is why I'm not saying it's 60, 70, 80, or 90%, because I was looking for data sets and I looked up and it's not recorded. They don't actually quantify the difference of like, they just say kids from whether they're 0 or 60 years old. If it's your kids, all kids of all ages, it's 60% men and 40. But if you look at some studies, they will say that it is largely disproportional and statistically almost thoroughly with young kids, especially under 8, and with infants. It seems to be the majority of the time, almost all of the time, the killing of infants are either a woman or a man and a woman together. And there's very few instances of men killing infants and killing little kids, because I do think, just like the way men feel when they see 2 gay men kissing, excited, horny. No, I'm kidding. No, men are repulsed. Men are repulsed on average. It's true. Like, the average man not exposed to porn or molested or raised normally has the same neurochemical firing in his brain of like being repulsed as he does to seeing maggots in shit, to men kissing naturally. And
Makes
that
sense.
I think men just really, like, if you see in war, that's why we all hate drone warfare. Men hate defenseless things. Now, men do murder and do kill because we have testosterone fury syndrome. And I hope women all just stop holding us accountable for that, because you've never been a dada. I'm an Aries rising, and I'll never hurt my cubs. Okay? I never hurt them.
Yeah, well, before we get into it, quick shout out to our people. US_monarch. He clips for us. Shout out to Groyper Firestick. It's GRYPR Fire STIK on Twitter. And thank you as well to Nicholas Redman. I think it's Nicholas_Redman on Twitter. He writes for us on our website. Thank you guys for all that. Is there anything else you guys have?
Yeah, listen, I was aborted when I was a baby, okay? So I understand what it feels like. But remember, I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's also women, there's a lot of women on TikTok before this, we never really talked about it, who are mad at their parents for not aborting them. It's very weird. But that being said, women are in trouble. So I went ahead and talked to Pearl from Pearly Things because she has a lot of really interesting takes on women.
She red pilled me
Yes.
on women completely.
Now I'm going to preclude this by saying everything that you're about to hear out of my lips is satirical and meant for comedic purposes only. Because a lot of it, I wish I didn't say it because I wish it wasn't true. I don't like that it's true, and I'm not promoting you to be degenerate or to do the wrong thing. I'm just saying, hey guys, things are cooked, and maybe the solution is not pretending like we can fix things because I don't think we can. And that doesn't mean you should give up. It just means you got to learn. Look, I don't like drone warfare, but you know what? If you're in war today, you better know how to fight in a drone warfare battle because don't expect mercy from a remote operated utility vehicle. So we're now in drone warfare 2.0. And how do they fight drone warfare? Sometimes they use old tactics. Back into the trenches, using nets. They have to start looking to the past and thinking things. How did men control women in the past? Burned the city and killed everyone. No, I'm totally joking. But
Well, I
listen
asked
to
a
this.
question to everybody. I said, what's the quickest way to take women's rights away from them? And Pearl gives a very unique answer that I haven't heard before, and it's totally red-pilled me and changed my life. Check this out.
What is it that you said earlier? I think you said before the Lindsay Clancy case went public and we saw the reaction from women, a lot of guys still had some sort of hope that maybe women weren't as fucked up, insane, and worthless to society as some people raised the alarm about. And now that this has gone public and it's been so widespread, it's so blackpilling that the current TikTok investigators and all the women who are afraid to speak out against it have done more to set women back in the minds of men and also proved that every piece of quote unquote progress has been just the slow and steady decay of society, and the chances of anything recovering are impossible.
Cooked. Yeah, it's done. It's done. And do you know what? Like, men don't even have to fight feminism because women will just like talk our way out of it. Like, we'll say something and then men will just get more black-pilled.
Well, you know why some guys aren't speaking out about it, because they're going to go down from no blowjobs and sex once a month with their wife to then once every 6 months. And all the women are already using sex and they're weaponizing it against their husbands. And what's crazy is that the reason why I think this is more serious, a very serious topic, and why it's waking people up is it doesn't matter about religious affiliation, political affiliation, or even just like age or maturity or finances. Like what you're seeing is that literally any person, if they're a conspiracy theorist or an establishment CNN anchor, women are loyal to Lindsay Clancy.
Yeah.
Not just because she's a woman, but most importantly because all the women are. So the group decided, and now you're against the group. It's not even about her.
Yeah, but it makes sense when you think about it, because women don't want to reproduce with average men. So that's what this is about. It's women saying we do not want to reproduce with average guys. That's why we're going to college. That's why we're fighting for abortion. And that's why we're fighting for Lindsay Clancy to be able to murder her kids after she has them, is because women do not want to reproduce with average men. And having children for women is like post-nut clarity for men. So like, you guys think you like a girl. A lot of times you might have the best intentions and then you hit, oh shit, I don't even like you like that. Women are like that with marriage and kids. So a lot of times women don't realize that they deemed guys that they wanted the marriage or the ring more than the kid until after, or more than like the guy till after.
Yeah, because they already go with the rape thing. So like a woman's like, oh shit, that was not a guy I wanted to have sex with, or like I don't want to be known as a whore. Maybe he raped me.
Yeah,
that's probably what happened last night.
It's post-nut clarity. So that's like all the women talking about like shaking their, and all the women are telling on them.
Women's post-nut clarity either involves a man going to prison or children dying.
No, having kids.
That's what I'm saying. But the post-nut clarity is I'm going to kill my kids because I don't like this. That's postpartum depression as a woman realizing she fucked up who she's having kids with.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And that's why all the women are, that's why I keep saying feminism is going to eat itself, because we always tell on ourselves. Like all the women publicly talk about having like postpartum depression. How stupid are you? You're telling your husband that? But women, I think women, like the infant mortality rate in the 1800s is really similar to the abortion rate today. My theory is that women have always killed kids. Like always.
But it was okay. They always had a god that they would sacrifice children to, or like the Spartans would throw them off the cliff. I don't know if that's real mythology or like real, but my point is there was always like, there was always an excuse. And also, not that I'm trying to promote paganism, but like, people also don't even realize that like in Corinthians in the Bible, like there's always Christians always use this example of like, oh, you got to use your liberties and be careful because of meat sacrificed to idols. And I'm like, oh, do you know why it was controversial to like have meat from the temple in your house and why Christians felt like scared for their neighbors to know? It's because they would go to the temples and have orgies with the priestesses. That's what the temples were. So if you had meat from the idols, it was like people knew you went to an orgy, and then the priestesses would have unwanted babies. And so the priestesses, which is like our modern witches, realized, well, I can't be getting in these orgies and just getting knocked up. So there's got to be a way to dispose of these children. And so it's like the more spiritual and self-centered and relaxed and moisturized and in touch with yourself you're a priestess. Those are the people who led the idea of just sleeping around, being in orgies, and disposing of your children. It's kind of weird, but that is feminism early stage.
I mean, all feminism it's a strategy using men's protector instinct against them in order to not reproduce with average men. So it's just trying to get men to do as much as possible for society and for us while giving nothing in return. That's really all it is. And using men's like innate protector instinct against them. That's it. So now that's what we're seeing. Now
I agree.
Like it's always just women don't want to reproduce with average men. Do you want to reproduce with your high school sweetheart or go to college and try to find someone better? We go to college. And we don't even mind getting into enough debt to like ruin our lives to do it. Then we say, okay, do you want to marry your college sweetheart or go into the city and, compete there and find an even better guy there? And then we do that instead. So.
Well, and I agree.
That's why I say
all
women. That's why I say all women are feminists, because all women don't want to reproduce with average men. Even me, even every e-girl is a feminist to some degree. So,
well,
all of them, 100%. All women are feminists because all women do not want to reproduce with average men. Is
that why the ugliest, fattest hoes are sleeping with these guys that are way out of their league from these dating apps, and they think that these guys want them? But in reality, they're just cracking them. Although these guys need to have some dignity, because these guys are cracking the ugliest hoes. I was down in Austin, Texas, got kicked out of a bar because I told the bartender, this is crazy. I said, dude, what's going on with hypergamy down here? You got like 6'5" cowboys, chiseled jaw, clearly like ripped. They look like they got money. I mean, those hats are like $500. I mean, I don't know if anyone without money has money for that. And they're with girls with back fat.
Yeah.
Which is gross. And he was like, basically, we don't allow misogyny and sexism in here, and kicked me out. This guy was like a masculine dude too, and he kicked me out. And I was thinking like, well, I'm not woke enough to date a girl with back fat. I'm not into that. But I also realized that we're at a literal point where guys are so down bad that now girls with literal breasts, and it's always the worst ugly ones, the ones with a flat chest and then folds in the back. Like the fat's in every wrong place. It's like those like, have you ever seen a Hispanic immigrant who gains weight? They look like a foam ball with toothpicks, They wear little tights. They look like a pigeon. You ever seen a pigeon's body with the stick legs and the round ball? I saw women down in San Antonio recently that I literally felt like feeding them bread, like crumbs, and they're with attractive people.
Yeah, well, the obesity epidemic gives women the upper hand, because if you're not fat as a girl, you have ungodly amount of options just by not being fat. Even more so than some of the top guys, really, just by not being a fat woman in America, because it really inflates the dating pool.
Is that why they're not? Well, I always say this: if you ain't at least a 0, I ain't your hero. So I have a rule that I'll never be with a girl that's not a 0 or double 0. And guys are not into that, and that's okay. You can have the fat chicks. There's a lot of them. I'll save them for you. But at the same time, like, I genuinely do not understand with women in today's world why people do not understand in general. You don't have to settle for that shit. Like, I don't feel like I don't feel like guys have to give into this feminist side, or if you are going to date a feminist, this is why I get shit for this, talking about being slut-pilled. At least embrace the fact that you're with a hoe, that you're with a feminist. And here's the thing. If you ever get in a sexual relationship or a relationship and you start falling in love with a hoe, sounds really degrading, but here's the easiest way to get your mind to hate the woman. And this is, I'm not saying I've done this, but this is true. This is how fucked up women are. If you know a girl has body count and you've done the simp thing and you started to fall for her because it's good sex or whatever, ask her if she has a favorite penis and like what her favorite penis type is. And she literally will have one that she likes, and she will have one that she remembers that she likes. And once you hear that, you'll never want to fuck her again, because you realize that girls are fucking you and they're with you and they're thinking about another man. They remember another man. There's another man they like that they still think about, that they're with. And they'll be like, yeah, there's this guy I was with and it was the best experience I ever had. And he was like this and that and it whatever, had a bend to it. And you'll be so disgusted with yourself. You'll be so horrified by what you're hearing. You'll never have emotions for her again. And remember, you had emotions for her while she was thinking that. So while you thought you had real love and you were flirting and you were talking and you thought you had something going on, she was thinking about the bend of another guy's penis, and it's real.
But it doesn't matter, because some guy will always do it. I mean, Lily Phillips has a boyfriend. As long as she's not fat.
That's a cuck fetish.
It doesn't matter. Riley Reid's married. Like, there's some revenge fantasy that these like women, there'll be a consequence. There's not going to be one. There's too many safeguards in place. So you should just get that out of your head. There's always going to be a guy that does it, and he's going to be above average, especially if she's not fat. Always.
So when we go in, do we just know that we're leasing?
Yeah, it's a rental.
Yeah, it's like a rental.
It's a rental. Yeah, that's the problem, is guys thought they were buying, and it's a rental.
Right, you get into like a rental car and you're not like, like you buy a car and it's scratched in the center console, you'd be like, dude, I'm not buying this.
Yeah.
But if it's already scratched, like, it's a rental. Who cares?
Yeah, it's a rental.
It smells like smoke. A black person's been in here before. Oops.
Yeah, and then it makes the girl like you more, because women, we don't really like men that want to commit, because it signals that you don't have any other bitches, and we hate men with no bitches. So the men that are like, I'm looking for marriage, lame. We don't want that.
Women hate a man who women also, one of the icks women were pulled is a man who shows qualities of being a good father. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
No, but
men who would be good fathers often turn women off.
Yeah, but then we like men with kids too. I mean, don't listen to that, to be honest, because women, we just say things. Like on my show, when I would interview girls about what they liked, didn't like, like I would have girls say they want a guy that makes this much money and then bang, my security guard. Happened all the time. They loved him. Hope he's doing well. You know what I mean?
It's like going on Fresh and Fit, and everyone's like, yeah, you stupid whore. And then everyone hangs out after, and it's like, well,
no, I don't
things happen.
No, I don't really. I can't really take it seriously when girls say they like all these standards, because we all know like women fuck losers for free all the time. All the time.
So I'm a loser.
I wasn't talking about you.
No, genuinely, here's the problem, though. This is what I think the problem is. As a guy, here's the issue, is so in my life, not promoting like degeneracy per se, but it's like,
I'll start.
Well, no, what I mean is this. What I mean is this.
At this rate.
Like every guy's had this point. I'm saying every guy's had this point where they've like told a girl they loved them and they didn't. Yeah. And I have this thing that I will tell girls when I meet them, like, by the way, if I ever tell you that I love you, but it's during the time that we're hooking up, that's more like role play. Just like you say you want to be raped and beat and choked, but it's role playing. If a guy tells you he loves you and he wants to have a life with you, wants to make a baby with you, but he's currently 3 inches inside of you, which is the max we're getting these days, you go, just know that's not real. And I think that is important, because as a guy, when you sleep with a girl, when you're having good sex, you do have this like first month or two when girls love bomb you, where you're like, you have this reproductive strategy, like, I want to put a baby in you, I want to be with you, I love you. And then you realize, like, renting a supercar in Miami and you have all those guys that flex it, that's all you might be doing. It's like you have a car that you're overpaying for, that's not worth what you're paying for it, and it's not yours, and you need to understand that you're never going to know how to drive it well, it's never going to work for you, it's never going to be yours. And I think that there's those 2 months, though, where guys either get a girl pregnant, they either trick themselves, or they get too deep to where they think, I can't get this again. And then they end up just getting stuck for years, and it's like, it ends badly.
And the guy could mean it and change his mind. There's a lot of times when a guy does mean it in the beginning, and then she shows other behaviors that turn him off, and then he changes his mind. And that's kind of what marriage takes away, is the right to change your mind, which everyone has. Men, women. It's just legally, I guess, not for men, but yeah. I think that's why it doesn't really work, is because you always do have the right to change your mind as a person.
They don't tell you the blowjobs stop when you sign the contract. Girls give you blowjobs to get you to sign a marriage contract.
Yeah.
And then once it's signed, they're like, good luck, buddy. Good luck. And that's what happens. And then also, by the way, on a side note, what's crazy is it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or in the world, or you're a feminist, or you're surrounded by worldly people or Catholics or Orthodox or Protestants. No matter what, if you ever bring up like, hey, I thought I was getting into marriage so that I could, like, maybe you're Christian, so you say, I got into marriage because I thought like the right thing to do was I could get sex whenever I wanted and needed from this contract. This honored God. Maybe you're a feminist and you wanted to respect a woman and you don't cheat on a woman. You did it to be faithful to a woman and to have commitment. Whenever you explain you're not getting your end as a guy in marriage, and this is every guy I know, most of my friends are divorced or even twice by their 40s. When you explain that, they always say death starts in the bedroom. There is not a single community that doesn't somehow make it your fault as a guy. And they end up saying, well, like, yeah, what did you expect? Like, that's what marriage is. Like, of course you should have known that. They don't tell you that, but of course you should have known that.
They don't tell you that the most effective tool to solve that is dread. So like, another woman, basically. And it doesn't mean you have to act on it, but like a strategy is to get a hot secretary. And then like that's a strategy.
Doesn't work every time.
Yeah, I'm not saying for you.
There are
but
times
like,
it doesn't,
and not for everybody. But like the red pill was actually forums. So it was a bunch of guys coming together to solve their problems on the internet, and everyone demonizes it now because it gives men power because they created strategies in order to solve men's problems, and running dread is one of them. So it's like going to the gym and improving yourself as a guy, and sometimes that solves a dead bedroom, sometimes it doesn't. Ryan Stone explains it a little better than me. He like works with guys and he's really good at what he does. But yeah.
Is that why? Well, I also think too, a lot of guys just get into swinging as they get older. I've noticed that's like very popular today.
Oh my gosh, in Texas.
Yeah.
In Highland Park. What the fuck? The
pineapples are sold out everywhere. Like, no, but genuinely, the problem with this is though, and I want to get your opinion on this. The reason why I always tell people, like, hey, your girl is going, and it doesn't matter if she's a virgin or not, if she's religious or not. The reason why is because you are not, no matter what you do, and you leave her at home, you're like, I'm going to leave her at home, and she's not going to be under a guy, and yada, you say all this stuff. She has access to Love Island. She has access to these, to Milking Farm 3 books, and she has access to her friends. And so it's like when you get around here and they have access to Instagram and these TikToks and these influencers, the woman's mind goes in a natural direction, and it took locking them in a tower defended by a dragon and a moat of fire and crocodiles to keep the woman pure. That's what the fantasy says.
And what about when you die? Most men die first. Like, it's not she's gonna date someone after you die and be with someone. So even if you have it for like when I was in high school, my grandma, I went and I stayed with my grandma for a few weeks, and they would like go out to the bars, and I was like driving them, and I listened to these old ladies talk about dating. That's why I know the women of the past weren't any different, because they would like talk about dating. It was kind of funny because they would get ghosted. Literally, they'd go on a date, and the guy would die. So, but regardless, and like some of the highest STD rates are in old people homes. So even if you have
the villages in Florida has the highest
even
STD
if you
rates.
have a lifelong marriage and she doesn't cheat on you, most guys don't want to think about she's probably banging someone else after you die. And that's called widow's fire. They talk about it in the red pill, where women get really, that's why I'm not saying this happened to Erica Kirk, but people speculate that's what she was doing when, she was like kind of dressing provocative. That's like something that's been documented in the red pill, is women get, because women, when we're sad, we want to have sex. So like if she's sad over you, she's banging someone else. Same reason, like, there's hoe phases after breakups or whatever. Because when we're sad, we have sex.
Yeah, why? Yeah. But when guys break up, they improve themselves. Well, like we like, no. Well, you go through a crash out, and then you get over the crash out. It usually involves substance abuse, and then after you get over that, you end up like because the guys' dating method is they tell guys improve yourself. You're worthless. You've got to become something. And you need to move on. Girls, you're perfect the way you are.
Yeah, but I think if men had access to women easily, most of them would also have a hoe phase after a breakup, to be honest. It's just like, it's too much work to get women.
The hoe phase,
I think most guys, given the choice, are going to maybe run through some e-girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, well, they say that. It's recorded in the... It's recorded in it's in the Apocrypha or something, that the lost books, Nahum or something.
Yeah.
They say that's true. No, but genuinely, this is what I love is I bring this up about why you can't trust X and people for the moral fagging and policing and puritanical, gatekeeping is I will laugh when there's a bunch of kids out there, and I totally understand if you want to be pure and you want to live your life a certain way, then all the power to you. But you have a bunch of guys who have no access to women, and it's not intentional. They're just raised online. They have no social skills. They don't even have autism, which is sad. They're just literally retarded in a normal way. They never develop life skills. They're overweight. They don't have money. They're studying. They're not even going to school. And they're like, yeah, I'm a Catholic virgin warrior. And you're like, well, you've got no other option.
Yeah, because they're chopped. And the closer you are to God, the less likely you are to reproduce in a way, because it's women like men that get bitches. Yeah, because women like men that get bitches, and you're telling the guys not to get bitches.
King David got bitches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, just logically, obviously, there's going to be like the few giga chads in church, and I go to these churches, I do the interviews, so you'll see, because that's what the conservatives. I'm so tired of these misleading statistics. It really annoys me because I've been doing this for years. They'll cite the birth rate being higher as a way that they're going to fight the culture war, blah blah blah, in the church. But what it is the giga chads get their like 8 kids out of the church, the highest status guys, but there's still a bunch of single guys with no bitches and no kids. And it's still feminism in a way, because it's trying to convince men to, give their money, their time and attention to the church and give nothing in return because they're not going to get a wife and kids. And that's feminism at its core. So they're giga chads, Will,
The higher the hands in worship, the bigger the whore.
Yeah,
the more that they're praising. It's not even a joke. And also, you know what a bragamony is?
Yeah.
You heard of that?
No.
Like, this is not a joke. The easiest way to get hoes in church, this is such bad advice for some people, but the way to get hoes in church is that you go give a testimony. But when you talk about your past life, you insist on saying things like, instead of just like, hey, God changed my life, here's what I'm doing now, and here's how God has changed me, you do 90% of it like this. I'm a new Christian, and just last year, so it's gotta be like, it's all right, it's been here, right? Just last year, I was just fornicating. You gotta use the key biblical words. I was fornicating so many women, 8s, 9s, 10s, sorority girls, girls coming around us. I was 28 going to frat parties, bagging 18, 19, doing lines of cocaine off titties and off of assholes and shit. And it's like, oh, sorry, my language is still changing because I'm being transformed by God. And then you switch into this. After bragging, you switch into the reminding people that you are fallible. So you go, and I'm still so weak today, which is why I need God. I still have these temptations, I just see these people
like
in the church, and I'm like, I would eat her out, but I'm like, no, God, I want to eat the word of God. I want to feast on the bread of life. And it's like, and you're up there, and it's like, and girls are getting wet, and they're sitting there wet, not by the holy water, not by the Spirit of God. It's that they're just hoes, and they're there because they think that it gives them spiritual virginity.
No, I mean, this is what you do. You either force women to marry men they're not attracted to, and you ask men that, and they're like, no, we can't do that. Well, then society's going to destabilize, because then women are all going to pick Chad. That's it.
There's only so many Chads, though.
I know. Well, the women are going to fight to bang Chad as long as we possibly can. So.
Is that why they're not getting married?
Yeah.
Because they can't get Chad.
Yeah, basically. No, because when you think about it, we used to have a dowry, and we used to do arranged marriages. And as soon as women because a lot of conservatives cope and they say women weren't like this in the past, but it's just not true. Because as soon as women got the choice to share Chad, we did. As soon as what do you see, like a rich man or a guy that's poor and gets rich and then cheats, always wanted to cheat and always was going to cheat. Women that left their husbands when they got the choice were always wanting and going to do that if they could. So it's like a cope. And I asked my grandma before she died, because my grandma, before she died, she stayed married, right? But I asked her what it was like to kind of watch the downfall of society, because my grandma had 9 kids. And her, on her deathbed, she said her only wish was to have more. I was like, Grandma, how many more kids did you want? She's like, I wish I had 12, Yeah. And she's like, I was on birth control for 2 years. I'm like, all right. But regardless, when I asked her, she said all the women in rural Wisconsin got birth control, and that was why they left their husbands. So as soon as they got the choice to not have kids, they didn't. Other thing is, too, people had a lot of kids, not out of love or anything. It was just because they needed kids to run the farm. My grandma needed 9 kids. They had a farm. And as soon as technology advanced and we didn't need the kids, women don't like being mothers. Women are not nurturing. Women don't like their children. And there's literally 500 years of writings talking about female abusing kids. I don't know where we got this idea that women are good with children. And even if you like watch, like the happiest guy I ever met in my life was a guy that worked at a summer camp with kids, and he was so happy and he's like playing with the kids. You know, you go to the playground now and you watch women with the kid, they're gossiping on their phones, and you'll see like one single dad playing with his kids hanging out. Women don't like kids. They don't. So, especially if they reproduced with an average guy.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, and by the way, also, a lot of people they think it's like the 6 feet, 6 figures, or whatever. We always say alpha is a demographic and a mindset. So, a lot of people wonder like, how is that guy with nothing getting all these bitches, or and a lot of times it's just because he's got an alpha mindset, like living life on his own terms. There's other guys that explain it better than me, but like the homeless guy on the side of the road with a girlfriend,
Rufus.
Nobody can like tell him what to think. He's doing what he's going to do regardless, and women love that.
They do.
And the excitement. It's like exciting. Ted Bundy, exciting.
Yeah, girls like Ted Bundy, and I think wasn't he gay?
Yeah.
But they still like him because it's the idea of a fantasy that would never happen. So they like what they can never have or can't be real. No, but you're right about this. One thing that I noticed is this. This is like, and again, people always think I'm talking about my own life, but like, believe it or not, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people in a lot of different lifestyles that have the same end to their issues because they're all dealing with the same product. It's the woman. And I noticed that like when girls describe things, okay, in a relationship, and I've seen this always, a girl never says like, look, they say you've been at work all day, right? You've been at work all day. And I've been home, which is fine. Doing what? I had to do this. I had to take out the dishwasher. You didn't take out the trash. I take out the trash. And then there was a throw up. And then I had to go to Target. And so instead of just saying I was a stay-at-home mom today, or I stayed home with the kids, they break down the day into every task. Like for instance, they go like, and I had to do laundry. And like, oh, you had to spend 2 minutes putting some garments you didn't pay for into a $5,000 machine I bought you. There was a time when doing the laundry meant a woman went down to the river and had to put time in. Your life's easy.
No, that's the other red
Get fucked.
That's the other red pill is we don't need stay-at-home moms anymore because there's only 2 kids. And a lot of these housewives are just bored. So they
are bored.
Yeah, they are bored. They don't have enough to do.
That's why they do crafts and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So and
cheat and read weird books
and leave. Yeah, no, totally. I mean, that's one of the highest divorce rates is homemakers, and it totally makes sense. They got nothing to do. Like once the kids turn 5, they're in public school most of the time.
I happen to agree with this.
Yeah. So maybe if you have like 5 kids and you're homeschooling them, but who has that now? You have 1, maybe 2 kids.
Yeah, and then once they're past the school, then it's like you gotta go do something with your time.
Yeah, and women used to come with dowries historically. So like women always worked. And the work was much harder back in the day. Like this idea of like women not working is something rebranded from the 50s when like appliances became more normal, but it used to be a full-time job to take care of a home. It's not now. So yeah, women are bored. Basically.
Can I tell you that this is honestly true? This is like not even a joke. Is I have found this from a personal experience. Is like when I have my kids, I am with them. It's been my whole life. When I'm with my kids, I find it to be very easy to have kids because my kids are young and they'll say something. Sometimes I just have to just look at them and they know I'm serious.
Yeah.
I don't have to hit them. I don't have to do anything. And I don't argue with them. Like they'll be like, no, I don't want to eat. I go, you're eating right now. Sit down. And they listen. I don't say anything else other than that. I watch women and not just in my life, but other people's wives. They like argue with children and they work themselves up. Like they go down to a 3-year-old level, like, get over here. And like, no, like, oh, I'm going to tell your dad, you better come here. And it's like, eat your food. And it's like, what are you in it? What are you arguing with? It's a child. Why are you in an argument? And it's like, we had such a stressful day. Like how'd you have a stressful interaction with a 3-year-old?
Yeah.
They're 3. They would eat their poop if you let them. So like, maybe just like calm down. Don't take it so personally. Maybe you don't need to be personally wounded today because your 3-year-old wouldn't eat his dinner. Maybe just be like, all right, fuck it. Go to bed hungry.
Yeah. Well, it's we're also really lazy. I think the worst wives are actually spoiled women that just have had everything handed to them. I think that's why the best wife I ever met, I could say, probably 2 wives I've ever met that I would really believe submit and obey their husband in all things. Terrible background, terrible mothers. And I think that's why they weren't spoiled. You know what I mean? Like now you have all these women that are spoiled. The other thing too is We're so, what do you call it?
She deserves less.
Yeah.
Give her less.
No. We're so high status from a young age that it changes how you talk to men and people. So like everyone's talking to you like you're important from very young. I'll give myself as an example. I was an athlete and I went to state. I was all conference. I got all these accolades in high school and college, like NCAA tournament. My brother was a better athlete. Everyone knew me as like the athlete in our family because I got all these accolades, but they're fake. Women's sports fake, right? And there's so many programs like that. Even my job now, you know, my counterpart who talks a lot about these issues is Terrence Popp, 30-year veteran, right? 30-year veteran, lost his kids, been through the system, saved 500 guys from suicide. I get invited on shows he doesn't. That's not fair, you know? And there's all of these programs. And so what happens is that's how you get Candace Owens. She's a DEI hire. I'm also a DEI hire. I'm not saying I'm special or different. I'm totally not. But all these people are telling the women we're important all the time. How do you not believe it? How do you not? How do I not believe I'm like the best athlete ever when everyone's telling me that, you know? So that's my favorite thing to do now is actually to tell women that we're all DEI
How did you
hires.
realize? People say that you're pick me energy because you're like just doing what some girls do on the right, where it's like, you know, like that one girl, Savannah
Stone.
Savannah Stone, where it's like, well, yeah, just flash your vajayjay and then repeat the talking points. How are you different?
Oh, I'm not. All women are feminists. All of us. We all have to be because we all have power over guys. Like we all can get abortions. We all can make money on social media. Easy job. Like none of us are special. None. So
yeah, you know, my producer.
A good question would be like,
what?
How did you achieve this level of self-awareness in general?
Observation. Yeah. So, I mean, because you just start to realize when you think about it, like women have 85% of consumer buying decisions. Everyone's lying to us all the time. That's so much power. Like all of the companies are catering to us, all of, and you know, it just didn't make sense to me. Like I think Rollo would complain about it because I would get on the shows and Rollo's way smarter than me. And then I'd be like, he's kind of right. Like, why am I here? You know, so, and I realized too that it's easier, like they can argue with me about marriage because they can say, oh, you don't have kids, which is true, right? But like, how are you going to tell this veteran that, you know, he just didn't do the right thing and man up and like, you know, when he served in 3 wars, where you're going to tell him, what did he, you know, what are you going to tell him he should have did better? You know? So,
not worked for Israel?
I don't know about that stuff.
No, I'm just saying.
I stay out of that.
No, I just mean like, you know, people would still give him shit. But also I have to say, I feel like women that are self-aware usually had a woman in their life or around them that was so evil that they either have a split choice to become as evil or more evil than that woman, or they realize it's such evil that they see that they're like, oh my gosh, it takes a lot. And they're like, they just have to have a moment of self-reflection and go, fuck, we actually are ruining society and men. And you have to accept that. And very rarely does that happen because so many of them are all the evil person. So there's more of them that are that person.
And even if you're not evil to start, like it's a lot of power you're giving women. You know what I mean? Like we have dating apps give us a ton of power. The easy jobs give us easy money. How do you appreciate money when you get it so easily? There's so many simps just throwing money at us all the time. Like, for my divorce documentary, I literally compete with sugar babies for money. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's either the sugar baby gets her college paid for or I get my documentary funded. I wonder if you guys have the same, doesn't matter. But regardless, those women, think about it. They have to bang some old guy once or twice a month. They get their college paid for. The other woman is looking at her friend, like buying all this fun stuff. You know, they're both having sex regardless. One has to work for 20 years to pay off college. The other, and the other like gets her college paid for easily. Why would you not? You know,
I was recently around new levels of whores and I did not realize how disgusting they are. I was like, I saw a side of whores that I didn't, like I haven't been deep in that in a while. And I was just in like a social circle with like, the real like hoes who are doing it right. Like I was hanging out with like, no, but like hoes who are like, they have no boundaries, no limits. It doesn't matter how old he is, whatever. It's like, whatever you got to do to suck and fuck and get ahead and you know, whatever. Yeah. You want to be liberal for him, conservative, pretend to be a wife, date, marry, whatever. Just do whatever. And I was around these people and I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like I wanted to kill myself because I had never seen it was like I lost all my anything that I thought about women that was like kind of saved my understanding of them went away, and I realized like this is the ultimate prize of how women want to live, and these girls are doing it and they're at the top. Like I meet guys who are at the top of guy stuff where they're just like, you know, they have a family and a side chick and a big business and millions of dollars and all this stuff, and they're like pretty virtuous guys, usually pretty upstanding in their community and politicians and donating and super PACs. And then I meet the girls at that the ultimate hoedom. They have everything they want, all the manipulation, and it's like they're evil. It's like demons. It's like meeting your sleep paralysis demon with nice tits.
Well, it's
weird.
You gotta, but the incentives make sense. Do you want to marry your high school sweetheart, and now you're bored in the country? I mean, come on, women always get bored. And then you watch your counterparts go to Miami and party, right? Even if you start off wanting to do the right thing and marry your high school sweetheart, at some point you watch them get all these rewards and all this fun time. How do you not?
So women get rewarded for bad behavior.
Always, yeah. So that incentive, even if like.
So blackmailing.
Are you really gonna pay for your college, or are you gonna fucking old? I can't, you know, because I used to kind of rag on the women that got like pooped on in Dubai and stuff.
I was thinking about that. Why were we both thinking about that?
Yeah, I used to rag on them, but then I'm like, you know what? I never got invited to Dubai. Who knows what I would do?
No one's trying to poop on my chest either.
I'm like, you know, poop comes off, right? You know what I mean?
Dude,
but,
girls are into weird shit. Like, they pop your pimples too, by the way. That's weird.
Everyone thinks they would do the right thing until you're given a really good offer, right? So it's easy to say, oh, I would do the right thing.
Well, I've been given some offers to do some things I don't want to do, and I never took them.
Yeah, you did say no.
I did. I've given some pretty big offers to do some really nasty gay shit and stuff here and there, and I've just said no.
Okay, well, I'm very happy for you.
Reluctantly.
But I'm saying
it was really hard. So was I.
You know, but I'm, you know, like, I just think that's why sugar dating is just going to explode. It's just going to get worse because the economy is going to get worse, and women are going to say, do I want to get married? And every day I have to eat what he wants to eat. I have to do what he says. I have to like do all these things, right? And live where he wants to live. Or I can just be a whore, fuck some old guy once or twice a month and do whatever I want, go wherever I want.
Have abortions. Then when you have a baby, you just chase him for money and keep him out.
Have my life paid for. Why would you not? Like, why would you, like, if you think about the incentive, like, that's the worst thing from conservatives is they don't think about it from the girl's point of view. So they always say, oh, it's bad, they're not going to do that. And then we're shocked when, like, conservative women do the same thing when it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Marry your high school sweetheart? Like, I would bet so much money Savannah's going to get divorced because she's just going to get too many offers. She's going to get this easy internet money. And then on a balance of probabilities over like a 10, 20, 30-year span, one's going to be better. Why would she not?
Savannah Stone?
Yeah, I would bet.
She married?
Yeah, she's married.
What?
Whoa. I know. That's why it's kind of blackpilling is because
honestly, I would assume I have a better chance now.
Yeah, well, that's the e-girls love you, so you know what I mean.
It's true.
They
like they
want to leave their husbands, which is a scary note. If you ever listen to girls, they talk a lot about what it would be like leaving their husbands and having an affair. And if you look into it, like women constantly, every one of their love stories, obviously we know, is about like cheating and having affairs. And it's kind of weird because, you know, it's always emotional, which is the weirdest part. Like men are just horny. And so I always say this, women cheat, men are just men. And I think that, you know, that's why it's actually like the equivalent of a woman committing adultery is like when a man leaves and abandons his family. When he just abandons them, it's like, dude, you need to like provide for your children, your family. You're in that, they're staying true to you. If a woman cheats, it's always an emotional component. There always is, but it's not like because they're just passionate. It's because they just want something else. And I think that it's this weird concept that I don't understand to where women are never happy, and they can be as happy as you can make them. And even when you get to the happiest apex, they go, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
I think that women crave variety more than men. This is an unpopular take because you know, everyone would say to me, well, men don't want to eat the same food every day. And I'm like, well, every guy I know does eat the same
chicken and
food.
rice.
Yeah, the same thing every day. Where women, you know, we want to go to different places. We try different hobbies every 2 years, and we try different men every like 2 to 3 years now, or every day. I don't know. It depends on the girl, but you know what I'm saying? Like, now that we've given women all this choice, we're finding out women are not as monogamous as we used to believe, right? And I think that the top men in society always knew this, but they have to convince the beta bucks that women are pure, because otherwise society's going to crumble. Because the beta buck, why would they do the dirty and the dangerous jobs if all I get is a whore at the end of it? So they had to convince the guys that women are not whores. And so now what's happening is women are so stupid, they couldn't keep this con going. We just had to put it out in the open. And you're going to see society crumble because the men are going to look at this and say, well, why am I going to do the dirty and the dangerous jobs? So now men are dropping out of education. They're dropping out of the workforce. And society is just going to keep declining and going the way it's going. And everyone says we can save it. And the conservatives sell this dream. But like, okay, let's say we start to save it and give more power to men. All these companies are going to lobby to stop it. Like, let's say, 50-50 custody and like the child support alimony, because that's the biggest wealth transfer from men to women. Let's say like we really made some like changes. Well, who's gonna stop it? All of these companies are gonna say, whoa, 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 whoa. Like the plastic surgery industry, like that's another one. Are they gonna let women not have their ex-husband's money to get their new body? No, they need that. So there's just too much stuff in place that I say the only solution to feminism, I was saying earlier, is more feminism. Tell your wife to get a jobby job, be a stay-at-home king, get her a personal trainer, set her up, get a hotter guy than
Jiu-jitsu.
It's kind of white pilling, actually.
Just know, this is, if you get your whore, she is going to cheat on you. Like, now this is going to happen. You can plan accordingly.
Liberating.
I've learned this a long time ago.
And then you can just get her, whatever her type is, just get her a hotter version of you. Whatever you are. If she liked you, just find some guy better than you in every way. Pay him to hit on her, set her up, you know what I mean? Get it on camera. Now go to court and say, Your Honor, she held me back. I was the stay-at-home husband.
I was stable for my kids. Their schedule's with me.
I need to be maintained. I need to maintain my lifestyle.
Yeah, I need the jaw surgery, the nose surgery.
And in all honesty, I think this is better for the kids, because you got to protect the kids from their mothers, because even if they don't physically abuse it, mothers emotionally, they nag, they complain, and they teach the kids terrible habits.
Just keep them out of the house.
Yeah. And so now.
Have you heard my theory on life?
Work overtime, honey, please.
And women hate kids too. So, I mean, yes, you're not going to be respected as a man, but she wasn't going to respect you anyway. So, like, that's the same. And women hate kids. So I think they'll be happier after the divorce, because now you send your whore wife back into the wild and she can whore some more.
You know what they say?
I think Pearl has found the answer.
They say this, your whole life.
Yeah.
Your whole life is just your childhood being raised by your mother, and then you're in the rest of your life after 18 healing from the trauma and coping from the trauma that your mother inflicted upon you.
And can you think about it? Would be heaven on earth. Just think about your childhood. Now think about if your mother wasn't there. Now look, even at the best, and you know what? I was thinking about this, because the best mother I know, and she really is a good mom, she's still annoying as fuck. We're all annoying. So like, even if they're good intention, the annoyingness that we just bring into everything just like brings down the vibe all the time. So
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is. It's when a woman enters a room, you're just like, oh, brother.
I know. I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
People say it's gay. People say it's gay, but like it is. But it is so true on this. Here's a black pill. Here's a black pill. Not only does that girl that you think only has a 9 body count, which we're going up every year on what low is, but it's like, only has a 9 body count. Not only does she have a favorite penis in her brain that she can recall quickly. That's why I said it's scary. We're like, do you have like a favorite dick you ever had? And the girl will be like, oh yeah, there is. And they just go right into it and you go, oh, what the fuck? It'll change your mind. Try it. Watch. Try it. You think that you got a different one? You think your whore is different? You think you don't have a hoe? Ask her. And then even worse, ask her, oh, what'd you like about it? And she'll have a shape that she likes, and it's not yours.
Ask her the best sex she ever had.
Yeah, it's not you.
And it's not you.
It's not you. So here's the deal. So not only that, that's an interesting thing. People say, that's gay. Why would I ask that? So you can learn reality. So you come back down and you realize who filmed the lunar craft in the 60s taking off. Who was the cameraman they left behind? It's that moment where you go, whoa, maybe things are fiction and they don't exist. It sucks. It'll destroy your mind, but it'll make you a better man. But secondly, here's the thing too, is what you need to do is you need to do one thing. You need to get a hoe at once in your life to date. Just know if you can make it to 2 months, you're doing well. You need to spend all of your time not dating. You need to go hang out in her world. Let her pick what to do. It sounds emasculating. Trust me, when you find out what she's done with that mouth, you're going to be ashamed that you ever put your lips on it. And you go hang out with her people. Don't say a lot. Don't try to influence the decisions. See the way she lives and thinks. And when you find out it's not just her, it's everyone, and you see the world these girls live in, it will blow your mind to an extent that not only do you realize that there's nothing going on in their brain, but you realize that they're rewarded for it, that those girls have the most money, the most influence, the most manipulation and power. And you sit there and you go, I want you to know this, though you only experienced it there because she's powerful enough to be willing to show you what's going on, almost every girl you meet, if you think she's hot, this is the biggest black pill. I used to be like, I have a pretty high standard for girls. I like hot girls, I like baddies. Any girl who's a baddie in 2026 has a body count so much higher than she'll admit to you. And because she doesn't include blowjobs, girls don't include blowjobs as body count. If they're blowing a guy and he's fingering her, they don't count that. If they have a quick hookup in a bathroom at a club, they don't count that. If they had to have sex or sexual contact to get a favor, they don't count that. If they were drunk, they don't count that. And so she comes, she's like, look, it's been like 14, 15 people. Minimum, multiply by 3, minimum. Ask, how many men have you had sexual contact with? This is a crazier question. How many men have you had beyond just kissing? They touched your boobs, they were on your body. No woman even knows. That's hot. If they're hot. The only women that might know are ugly women, who the reason why they don't know is because no one wanted to touch them.
Correct.
But even their body count's still 9. Okay? So the ugly ones are 9. And you're like, not my girl. You know what I'll say this? It is your girl. She's going. And I'm going to help you. The only way you save your girl from going is by coming to terms with reality, because then you get to go first. Once you find out the truth, you're going to run. You're going to run.
And also women like that are virgins or with low, a lot of them are asexual. They just don't like, because why, how do I put it?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Until Chad comes around.
Maybe. I mean, some girls get out of it for the right guy, but
no, they'll do it when you break up with them, because then that's like, they'll go fuck guys just to get back at you. It's about revenge. They don't want it. They're still asexual. It's not about the sex. It's about putting up those bikini pics and power. Putting the yacht pics up.
Or they're making money off, like, because they always, that girl on Timcast, they always say the Virgin Mary or whatever, but I'm like, okay, but you're making money off this isn't about God. This is about your brand.
I like Mary.
I mean, I don't know her.
I don't think she's a virgin. I don't want to say anything. I mean, I didn't know they call her the Virgin Mary.
No, I've seen women use their virginity to build their brand, and that kind of
does she do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know any of this.
She totally does. I don't know if she still does. I don't know. I've just seen it before.
She's a nice person though, genuinely.
Okay, well, I don't care.
No, I'm saying I don't know any of this. I don't know any of the lore.
You don't have to the white stop.
No, I don't know. I don't know any of the lore. Like, I just met her. I don't know.
The lore. It's about the concept.
You're educating me.
The concept is she says she's a virgin, right? But your virginity isn't really special if you're telling everyone about it. You know, like if you're using your virginity to get attention from all these men online, is it really special and sacred?
You're not coveting it.
Yeah. It's what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, now you're just doing it to build your brand. That's
Who's the one girl says she's a virgin? The OnlyFans star?
Yeah.
The main
Sophie
one?
Rain?
Sophie Rain.
Yeah. But
she's a virgin. She is a virgin though, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Of
course.
course.
Yeah. But even, how do I put it?
I would believe that actually. That's the most virgin activity. Like, I want to let you know a virgin could do all that.
The more sex they've had, the purer of heart they actually are.
Yeah.
I don't know about.
If none of the men matter to them,
I'm not going to say that.
Hey, tell me, the fat bitch
you have their heart.
Had a lot of sex. Does she have a good personality?
No, I mean
they're the worst.
In a way, the whores provide more value to men, where the prudes provide nothing.
The whores are such good friends. They're such good friends, and they're so fun to hang out with. It's when you start falling for them. Can men not fall for whores, though? That's the hard part.
No, there's no revenge fantasy. Someone's always going to do it. Because,
men always fall for whores.
Yeah, and there's like, how do I put it? Because I feel like there's people age out of one, because, okay, there's the famous men is like, I don't know, under 25, 18 to 25. They go for the famous men. Then they age out. It's like the businessmen, 25 to 30, 35-ish. Then it's aged out, and then 35 to like, I don't know, 45 is going to be the, I don't know, 60-year-old guy. Like, there's always a new, like, okay, there's a guy in Texas. He's like a movie producer or whatever, and he got divorced. He's around like 65, 70. And he said he started going on dates with like 50-year-old women because they would just put out so easy. It was like the best. he's like first date, they'd go right in the car. And there's always a new Chad that found like his market. You know,
Nancy
before-
Mace
Let me
to
write
the
that
face.
down.
yeah. There's like always a Chad that's running through the 50-year-olds or the 60-year-olds. So it never really ends. There's the nursing home Chad. There's always a new, like, because they'll always say women age out, and they do age out of like certain Chads, but then they age out into the next Chads. You know what I mean?
But I feel like being
Yeah.
33 is weird because you have like 19-year-olds that
Yeah.
want to have sex with you, but you also have 45-year-old girls that want to have sex with you. Like, at
and
my age, you have both.
I know some Chads go for both. You know what I mean? But all I'm saying is like women love sharing men, and there's always going to be men that like found their market of women to share, you know, or like women to run through always.
Dude, and by the way, and they do. And I want to say this. I have this bad advice for people that I'm going to give here. I've said this. The reason why, like, I read some tweets or some like text messages that some of these like red pill guys were sharing between a guy and a girl about like they're setting up a date, right? Which dates you shouldn't go on dates in 2026, and there's no point. I was reading it and I couldn't tell who was the girl. I literally was looking at the colors and I'm like, who's the girl here? Because it would be like, you want to go get like chips and queso on Friday? And it's like, yippee, yeah, I do. And it's like, wow, that'd be great. And I'm reading the conversation, and for some reason the red pill guy presented it like, look she didn't show up on a date. And I took it differently. Like, who's talking about queso? Unless it's like being dripped on the body or something. The point is that when you text a girl within the first day you start talking, you should be very forward, very sensual, try to arouse her. And here's the deal. If you can get nudes from her on the first night, no matter how much she presents herself, you know, you just found out she was a hoe and you saved yourself any of this dating stuff. Now you have a decision to make. Do you want to just be degenerate and go fuck and you want to fuck buddy? Or if you're looking to date and something serious, and that's not what you want, now you know. That's not who it is. She sent you nudes. She said she's a virgin. You have one body count. I don't know anyone. I sent you my pussy and my tits the first time we've ever spoken. I can guarantee you can throw away all the bullshit. And women like you to be forward. They love you to be, as long as you don't send them the nude first, can't get in trouble for it. And as long as you're talking to them and you're not saying anything illegal, they'll show you they're a whore the first time you talk. Don't waste a date. Figure it out on the texting and then make your decision and either go fuck them if that's what you want to do, or don't date them and don't go on dates if they already gave you nudes. Just fuck them.
Yeah. Well, and also it's like, women prefer men that don't sexually shame them because it signals that they're used to having women. So, because if guys are super, even though men will always feel like repulsed by body count, like you guys can't help it. You'll always feel that way.
So true.
Yeah. But
like,
there's a reason, there's a reason like Destiny banged Lauren Southern, right? It's because he's like not sexually shaming her. You know what I mean?
That's
And
what people
she- and
ask.
she-
Yeah, why do they like him? Like,
yeah.
because he's probably like, hey, you want to go in my bedroom and fuck right now? And you'd be
Yeah.
surprised how many girls are just like, yeah.
Yeah, no, and she even talked about that on one of the shows. Is like she just loved how like he didn't shame her, and that's a thing. That's why
Girls are freaky.
They say like liberal men. The
Freaky.
reason like the guys do the open stuff and like the liberal guys, it's because they like had sex sooner than a lot of conservative men. So they're like have already made their coping and adaptation strategies. That's because a lot of times like I know a guy that does the open stuff. In a way, everyone's open. You know what I mean? Like in a way, everyone is. You just might not know it, but like
Convenience stores aren't just for you, buddy.
And I asked him about it, the reasoning, like why he does it and why he doesn't like closed relationships, and he said it's because he didn't like how as soon as he gave commitment to the girl, they started like being a bitch, and so his adaptation was just we never do that. We're always open. Do what you want.
Yeah, if you start open, like I know a lot of guys say that that's cucking and stuff like that, and so I'm not saying like, hey, if you're married right now, just start whoring out your wife. That's not what I'm saying.
He stays open.
That's what I'm saying. That's like they started that way, and it's like, hey, look, we're just together because it's like maybe economic. It's like we're able to keep a house, maybe have some kids together or something like that, so I can have some offspring. But in the end, like I know guys. There's quite a few guys I know who the way they do it is, and people are gonna give me shit for this, but I do know people who like had better success than my monogamous married friends in keeping a girl around and keeping your life is they will just like do stuff, but like they'll find like a girl says she's bisexual basically. And then instead of having like a polygamous or like a polyamorous relationship, it's like the swinging thing. They just sort of like mostly have sex with each other. Occasionally she brings a girl around like a friend. Sometimes they run trains on her with his friends or whatever. And they have this sort of just like loose thing, and they have kids, and they've been together for like 30 years, which is more than any of my married friends have been together.
Is that the right way to live? I'm not saying that. Am I promoting that? No. But I'm just saying it's weird that they've stayed together longer and they seem to be happy and they seem to have an enjoyable life. But of course, the religious part will come in and be like, well, they're going to go to hell for that. And it's like, well, what about divorce? There's not a lot of, most people don't get divorced for biblically justifiable reasons. So are you going to hell too? Because like most people divorce for just nonsensical bullshit.
Well, and also it's not really biblical because conservatives require morality from men, but not from women. So it just cucks them. Like if the women can whore out and then say sorry after, why can't the men?
And women can withhold sex and there's no guilt for that.
Yeah, there's nothing. So they require, it's one-sided morality. So it's feminism. So all the churches have it. I think whenever you get a group of people, you're just always going to get the same thing. That's why I don't really believe in any organized religion, because you just are not going to, like, you have the sexually inexperienced men, the priests, to nag the chads. So the chads will or nag the women's husbands. It's always a sexually inexperienced guy. And then they say, oh, my church is special. And I'm like, really? I've been to your church. And they're exactly the same. Exactly the same. When I talk to the priests, they give the priests, the bishops, whatever the hell's in the Orthodox, they give the same kind of cucked answers. Always. So it's never just, should she
Is that just in
him?
America though? Like, do you think that would be different if you went to like Russia?
I know I lived in England. No, I've been to churches in England.
That'd be worse than America.
One of the worst custody cases I ever saw was from an Eastern European woman. And the international makes it worse. I don't recommend the passport because they might steal your kid and go to another country. And there's no laws to bring them back. So even if, like, I know a guy who got custody in America, and then one of the visitations, the woman took the kid and just took him on a plane to another country and then never came back. And then there's no laws to go get the kid back.
Oh, wow. I spent a lot of money and I got my kids back from another country. So that's what happened to me.
Well,
and I got them back. It just costs a lot of money.
Well, that's because of that country specifically.
Yeah.
That country just has a very strict custody relationship with the United States.
With them,
Brazil, it wouldn't have worked.
No, this was Eastern Europe.
If I followed through on my Greek plan, it wouldn't work. Probably, I think I'd be screwed.
No, I think men, they would go get the kid. It's just when a woman takes it, in my opinion. For the most part. I mean, I don't know that specific country. This is just, and that was from a Latin mass. That was actually from Michael Knowles' church. So that's why I was actually kind of pissed, because I went on Michael Knowles' show and then we had this debate where he just gaslit me the whole time. Probably debated better. I'm not that good, but
he's married, right?
Yeah, but they pretend they don't see it because they're the high status men. So they benefit from the low status men getting married because they need someone to take care of these whores and stabilize society for their kids. So their incentive is to throw other men into the fodder. And so I actually got really pissed because I thought, hey, there's no way you're blind to this shit. There's no way you don't see what I'm talking about. And you're telling men to not get married with a prenup, and that it's wrong for them to get a prenup and they can't even paternity test their kids. Fuck you. That's how I feel about it, because I've seen guys where it's like they have death in their eyes because they've lost freaking everything. And rich men can recover a lot better than middle class and lower class men. And a lot of the men that get it the worst is the military. And so you're in an easy talking job and you're saying, oh, a guy in the military is wrong, or a guy with a real job is wrong for paternity testing his kid or getting a prenup or even questioning his wife. Go fuck yourself. That's how I feel.
Do you want to start like a Jerry Springer thing? Do you want to bring people on and like paternity test them live and read their results? I would do stuff like that in a second. But I also want to say this, because we've been hard on the religious people. You might disagree with me on this, but there is one group of high status religious men, particularly, I don't know how they do in other religions, but in the Christian community, there's one group that I've always respected, even now with my criticisms. And by the way, I know a lot of people, if anyone's end up watching this, I know what we're doing with this, thinks these things are harsh. They suck. They are harsh and they do suck. And I wish they weren't true. I actually wish the world worked the way that the people who are lying to you said it worked. I really wish that the world wasn't like this, because it sucks, because you don't gain any sympathy. You don't get any fans. The atheists hate you. The Christians hate you. Everyone hates you because you're just telling them the truth.
Well,
but go ahead.
No, and they call you degenerates, and they're always in the most fucked up shit. You know how many people have called me degenerate over the years? And I'm like, you guys are doing crazier shit than I am.
Well, I'd rather be degenerate than you. Not you, but to them. But here's my point. No, there's a group. So there's this guy, Jewish convert guy. His name's Jacob Boyens. You heard of him? So his name's Jacob Boyens. He works. He's never drank or anything. I actually believe him. He feels like he was called by God. He never, he just kind of never
did anything from a young age and felt like he was called by God. He's married, and I've known him. He's very humble. And one thing that it is, it's not this humility. He doesn't say he's humble. He goes out and his whole life, he's not like very public about it, I don't think, but he fights human trafficking, international trafficking of children. That's what he does. Very like cool guy. He's not boastful about it. He's not macho. He's just like very much on board. But he doesn't come across like an overtly sexual guy to me. We didn't talk about sex and temptation. He will not travel anywhere without his assistant with him, where they sleep in the same room and they're around each other, because when I talk to him, he goes, listen, like I have never been promiscuous, and I've like, but now as God's like granted me like this opportunity, and like my status has risen and I have money and I've started organizations and around, like I understand that new temptations can arise and that the attraction from women and these things can be increased. So I actually like have to set up new barriers for myself. This is where it's different than cucking men. I'm traveling with my guy so we stay focused on the mission, so we don't get distracted by the new temptations to spend money, and even not even just for women, like so we don't buy the most expensive room and waste money. And I'm trying to keep accountability for myself. When a man creates his own boundaries and creates his own ways to stay true to his mission, and he doesn't flex that, I don't hear him talking about it. It's not a big deal. It's like, that's the only thing that I respect, are those kind of guys who are like, they've created their own boundaries. They're not pastors telling everyone, you got to have an accountability partner with you. They don't even call it anything. It's just like, I travel with my assistant. We hang out. We never leave each other in public, because we just want to make sure we stay focused on the mission. Like as if you're a soldier in the field. I respect that. But guys who are like fat pastors who are talking to you about the dangers of excess and alcoholism and stuff. And you're like,
yeah,
dog, you are disgusting.
Yeah, if I'm going to hell, you're going to be there with me for gluttony. Get the fuck out of here. Like, oh God. And you know what it's from? It's because mothers raise them, and it teaches kids to be very validation seeking, because when the dad's gone, then now the household is dependent on their mother's emotions. And so you're taught from a young age that you have to like seek validation from other people in order to survive. Because when the mother rejects the kid, when the mother rejects the kid, I can't remember. There's some like instinct. Rhinestone talks about it really well, but like there's some instinct that it goes off in the kid, and you learn that you have to like get validation and keep other people happy in order to be happy. Where fathers are the ones that teach you not to care about that stuff and not to care about what the world thinks. So usually when you have someone that doesn't care, they've either like taught themselves not to, or their dad was around more. Because it used to be like everyone used to work at home on the farm. And so the dad would be around more. They're all working. The biggest difference isn't women working. They always say it's like women working. I'm like, have you Googled the day in the life of the Amish? Women worked way more. They get like, it was a way harder life. The difference is they work outside the home. You know, that's the biggest difference, is the dad's gone after technology evolved.
So we do all these activities. You know, I want to end with this topic here. And it's not super long, but I want to just go back to some practical advice before we go, because we said a lot of complaints, and then the biggest complaint people have is like, well, the biggest complaint people have is no solutions. Here's what I think I want to talk about, because I mentioned about like dating. Don't date. I don't believe in dating. I think people don't understand that like courting back then is like,
just fuck, guys.
Well, no. I
mean, she's either fucking on the first date or she's not your wife.
Yeah, and there's nothing noble. There's nothing noble about she's had sex with every other guy before you, but you waited with her.
Yeah.
There's nothing noble about her or you. I'm not even joking. There's nothing noble about that. It's actually humiliating. It's like she's given out to every other guy, but you guys are transformed and gonna wait until you're married. Here's the deal. Either just get married tomorrow and start fucking tomorrow and get married. If you think you have to be married, then go get married tomorrow. What do you need 6 months for? Go get married tomorrow and start. Okay, tomorrow, go to the courthouse. However, if you don't want to do that and you want to pull this out and you want to do your own thing, you're lying to yourself. It's like, I always call it the unicorn theory. I ask you to draw a unicorn. We all can do it. We all know what they look like, but they don't exist. And so you're trying to create a unicorn that can't, never will, and won't exist. And you think because you slap God on it, you know, the trademark religion on it, oh, but you know, we're Christians now, so we're doing this the Christian way. You're humiliating yourself. It's embarrassing. And what you do is when you date, it's like, what do you mean your relationship's about activities? Activities are expensive and they're gay. It's like, look, if you want to go see a movie, just go see a movie. Invite your friends, okay? You don't need to go with a girl and see a movie you don't want to see. But she thinks it's cute. She can go with her friends too. That's fine. Go ahead and do that. But this whole idea of dating and this, it's all brand new. It was all invented. All these holidays, Valentine's Day, everything. It's just completely corporatism. Just figure out what you want to do. Either stay alone and avoid girls altogether, or just, if you're going to get married.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
If you're going to get married tomorrow and sign a prenup, and there you go. This whole middle ground right now, you're going to waste your time, your money, your emotions, drag yourself out. I'm going to break it down for you. She's a whore. She slept with other guys.
I like what Pearl
She's
said.
not special.
Like, if you just encourage your girl to be more feminist, really your life kind of goes back to a more traditional time, I would say. Because the woman is doing all the manual labor, and you're at home. You're with the kids like you should be.
Find your trad wife at Coachella. That's my number one. Find your trad wife. No, because I was thinking about it.
CPAC?
I think that you would be more likely to find a virgin girl at a giant concert, okay, than you would at a church. Because what did she do to go to church? What did you do to find the church? You know what I mean? You can either clean up her mistakes.
Who brought you to the church?
Yeah. You can either clean up her mistakes or be the mistake king. So yeah,
it is kind of white pilling, actually, because like as a man, there is such a feeling like we have to fix this. We're responsible for society. We have to do something. Well,
or you could do nothing.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. Like there is no solution anyway. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. We're way past that. So
I've never met a happily married couple.
Let's just live in the new world.
I met one.
I haven't.
A happy couple?
I've only met men who are coping, and they talk about, I'm a servant, brother, and I serve, and it's all about the woman. I've never met a man who's like, hey, I've never met a man who says he's happy, who gets a lot of sex, and if you're not getting a lot of sex, you're not happy. And it's like, marriage is about more than this. It's like, okay, you've already cucked. You think that your wife, she should be a whore for you. And your wife should be a prostitute for you. I actually watched a girl last night, like you said about the whore thing. The best video I saw was last night. This girl was like, I'm an unapologetic whore, but I'm not a slut. I'm married. And girls go, oh, what do you mean by that? It's like, literally, it's like, what, are you going to go to your husband's work and then suck him off in his truck? She goes, yes, but I'm also honest with myself. He buys me things. I want new rings. I want new vacations. You feed him well, suck his dick.
Yeah.
If he is a little whore and I get all the things that I need. And I'm like, they're not hard to please, honey. It's not rocket science. Suck their dick, cook them food. You don't have to do all these things. You're not going to care if the dishes are done if his dick's been sucked every day.
But
Who cares?
that's performative. You can't believe that. Anything women are doing on social media is performative. So
well, yeah, but I'm saying it's true.
Right,
I didn't say her life is good. I said it's true.
I'm just saying don't fall for it.
Well, I'm not going to marry her. I'm saying as a guy, if your girl was sucking your dick every day and making you good food, 90%, you don't even care about anything else. You're just like, oh, I don't really even care. I'll just get a maid to go clean up the rest of the house. I mean, I'll hire a cleaner.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
I don't think men actually want cooking and cleaning, because here's the thing: most men are getting married now between 30 to like 40-ish, like for the first time. And by the time they get to like marry you or whatever, they can cook better than you, because men do everything better than women. And like, honestly, men love routine and they hate variety. So it's like, they're kind of annoyed that they have to like eat the foods that you like and not the foods they like. And then they have to reteach you, and then you might leave anyway. So it's like, I don't even think men really want cooking and cleaning anymore, because they'd rather just have the problem solved and not have this unreliable bitch like in charge of it. Well,
I would say if they cooked what you wanted.
Yeah, but then even when we do that, it's like we always want to try a new recipe, and then we want to change it. Yeah, and then it drives the men
hate hearing
crazy.
that. We're trying something new tonight. Did I ask for that?
Yeah, guys just want the same thing.
It's like you moving the forks to a new place every day.
Yeah.
We're basically married.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying. Men like routine, women like variety and everything. Like, I know, like, men, yes, they want multiple bitches, but they want the same multiple bitches. Like, they would love to keep all their ex-girlfriends.
The same rotation.
Where women would love to go to Aruba and get banged by some random Chad and then go to somewhere else. Like, that's why women travel all the time.
Women and gay men have a similar sexual strategy.
Yeah, it's just Chad. Women don't even, we get the Chad we want. We're like, not that Chad. We want a new Chad. So I don't know. Like,
have you noticed that women also make men, like straight men's degeneracy, seem like it's women's? Like, they think when you're fucking a lot of girls, usually what it means is you have like 3 or 4 girlfriends in a year. Like you have a rotation of like 5 girls all year that you kind of go back and forth between dating them and going back. Most guys are not having sex with more than like a few girls a year, but it's the same ones. And a lot of the guys that are having sex with a lot of girls are bisexual, which is why they're getting E. coli infections in their vaginas.
Wait, what?
A lot of girls, it's a rise in E. coli infections, vaginal E. coli infections. and bacterial vaginosis and the lactobacilli being depleted because they're having sex with guys who are having anal sex with guys.
Yeah, but also because
it's a real thing.
Also, BV is also because women's diets are really bad. So
you mean ketamine and cum isn't enough to keep a balanced microbiome?
No, but because women are so fat, so it like makes it worse.
Anyways,
they are.
I'm not saying it's not what you're saying too, but I'm saying that like adds to it.
The smaller the waist, the higher the body count.
Yeah, but you're also like I'm pretty sure you're more likely to catch STDs the fatter you are.
I don't know if it's scientific, but I'd like to believe that.
Yeah, it would.
My world would be better if that were true.
So.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Hope all the fat bitches die of AIDS.
No, but I was thinking about it. Like, I really think you're more likely to find a virgin girl at a giant festival, like, because she's gonna go lose her virginity there, to Chad.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. I think you're more likely to find one there if you get them young enough than you would at a church. I've thought long and hard about this. And the women at church are chopped, and I'll say that.
Small admission here.
And they're all married already. If they're in church, they're married.
That means
they're attractive.
They're probably easier to get then. But I will say,
if they're over 30, they're usually like fat and they're only in church to find a husband.
Because they can't find them in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say this. This is not a joke. The first time I went to Coachella, actual Coachella, so we're talking about that, I just wore like shorts and I never wore a shirt and didn't shower, didn't come with anything. And my friend just was like, hey, I have a ticket, pick me up, left my job at the pharmacy, went to Coachella. And I had said, look, I'm at Coachella. This is before everyone was filming everything on phones every day. And I said, I'm going to try to see how many girls I can hook up with. And by hook up, I don't mean having full sex. I mean, even just making out like passionately at a concert, whatever.
You don't have to declare it's your business.
No, what I mean is like, I'm not saying there's no way you can hook up with as many girls.
Yeah.
But I got over 100 in the weekend, like was able to like just connect, at least make out for a while or whatever. Wow. Over 100 in a weekend. But it was intentional. So it was like we were going out and just seeing it. I just like look at a girl, I'd be like, hey, you want to make out? And she'd be like, yeah. And then we just start making out and feeling her up. And over 100 in a weekend.
Wow.
And it's like, I don't know about the virgins because I don't know about that. I had I don't know if that's true because that was the most I've ever done in a weekend in my life, but it was easy because there's thousands of people.
Yeah, but
tens of thousands.
that environment, like there's got to be women that don't go to all the festivals just because it's a giant one. And if you're like, that's the most exciting day of that girl's life. That festival, it's like, she's like, of course she's going to hook up with, the guy who asks, You
just walk up to girls at Coachella and say, you want to hook up? You want to make out? And they'll just do it.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean.
Like, do it.
I just think that environment's like conducive to hooking up, even for a good girl, like a girl that's better. I'm not saying she'll be bad soon. Like you'll be, you could be the first, you won't be the last. You know what I mean? So you'll be a string of bad decisions, but I think you would be more likely to find one there. Because like when I was in high school, ours was Country Thunder and Lollapalooza. I knew girls in high school that were virgins that went to those.
You're Chicago, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They
went virgins, never came back one.
Yeah. I didn't say it lasted, right? I'm just saying, like, isn't it better to be the mistake than the cleanup guy?
Well, millennials used to just hook up. Gen Zs are afraid of being recorded, so I don't think that would be as possible today.
I don't know. I never got to go because I got grounded and I got sent to my grandma's house, and then I had to DD for my grandma. Sad.
You sound like a young Catholic man on X. I just didn't get to have sex because I didn't have my grandma.
I know.
It's like, really?
I know.
Really, Jose?
Yeah.
You sure you're not LARPing as a white guy and you're fat and brown? Is that probably the reason why you're not getting white girls? That might be why. All right, conclusion. Great talk, great discussion. In case we do anything with this, who knows? I'll just say this as I always say. How can people find you? How can people follow you?
Pearly Things on Twitter, Pearl Davis on YouTube, and the Audacity Network is going to be where I release my documentary. So,
and if you're a Chad, you can follow her in a dark alley and do whatever you want because that's what girls are looking for. Chad does what Chad wants. Of course, make sure, guys, my last moral of today is if you have kids with a woman, be on guard right now because it's scary. They might kill your kids.
Yeah, stay at home, dad. You stay home, king.
Promote feminism today. Do it today.
Yeah.
For America.
All right, guys. Have a great rest of the night.